What's good? What's good? What's good? Welcome to another episode of My Friends Are Dope. I am your host, Yao G. This is another Knicks edition as we get you ready for the playoff run the Knicks are getting ready to go into. Do me a favor, like, subscribe, so we can get this dope content out to more dope people like yourself. Here with me today, I have another very special guest. We'll get into how we met later on, but you've seen this guy on Bleacher Report. You might have seen him doing content on the show Power from a few years back. He's also been on MSG. I mentioned Bleacher Report and a bevy of other platforms. He is now on Knicks Film School as one of the content creators on that platform. I wanted to welcome everybody to give my man a warm welcome. His name is Jeff Johnson, aka Jeff J. How you doing, bro? What's going on, man?
My man, I love that intro. Thank you so much. I gotta have you write my LinkedIn profile. Or
hey, man,
something like that. Like I like it. It was very warm, very natural, very welcoming.
Of course,
and super flattering. So I'm happy, man. I love what you're doing with the pod. I'm honored that you would tap me, especially like as a content creator. I've known you for years, so yeah. I really appreciate it. I love having these type of conversations. So really dope, bro.
Cool. I appreciate you coming on. I was normally I was getting to these things as to how we met, but I'm actually confused. I'm torn as to when it was. It was either I remember my homegirl AJ invited me to a mixer that was somewhere in the city, and I think we linked up there. But then I'm trying to think if it was it at. I also came to Bleacher Report for a visit when I was doing some voice work for Bleacher Report. And then there was another time where, and rest in peace to Twitter, but the Blackbirds events at Twitter used to be cranking. I feel like I might have mentioned but that was very early on in our friendship. So it was one of those 3 times. But ever since we linked up, we've always had great banter, great conversations about liking the same teams, particularly as we'll get into later, our beloved New York Knicks as they get ready to dive into this playoff run. So, just want to dive in.
You know where I think you were at NABJ in New Orleans?
No, I was in Miami. I missed New Orleans.
You went the next year.
Yeah.
So I think after New Orleans, it was probably 2018. One of them events, like the Collective. I remember all the ERGs through an event.
Yes,
but I knew you before then. It was probably like one of those events. We met up. And then it's just been love ever since. I have this same story with so many people in like that block of time where we all met at like one event, and then it just was. I don't know the time before I met. I didn't know you. You know what I'm saying?
I just don't identify it. And anything is like pre-mixer, post-mixer, whichever mixer it was. So
I could even tell you. Shout out to my guy Rye Cole. Because he worked at ESPN before he worked at Bleacher Report. So he was like my connection to a bunch of ESPN folk. All the ESPN folk I met after I joined Bleacher, he was one of the main connectors. So I wouldn't be surprised if he directed it was through an event or just knowing him and just being able to have that common connection. Right.
Also, in this business, man, we're so connected on so many levels, particularly when you're a person of color. We just going at some point link up at some event. So, like I said, happy to have you on, man, and just we can get right into it. So,
yes, sir.
Your career as a content creator is pretty established. How did you get into it? What is the inception of you getting into this business, and how have you been able to flourish for all these years?
Yeah, man. So funny enough, this is my second career.
Right.
So I started as a tech consultant, and I was working in that for a while right out of college, and I knew that it was something I originally thought, okay, this is going to be my career path. I'm going to be in this for a while. I went to school for computer science. So
where'd you go to school?
I went to Hofstra.
Okay.
Yeah, so I went to school for computer science, and I knew I wasn't going to be in somebody's corner of the room programming all day, but I wanted to be something. I wanted to be in some field related to technology.
Right.
I ended up doing consulting for an accounting firm, big accounting firm, and handling that technology side where I used like 5% of my degree, but it got me into professional life and working. So you know how that goes.
Right.
Working in that for a while, going through the recession, Great Recession, going through all of that, I realized.
Don't remind me. That was a tough time.
You want to talk about time? We was talking earlier off camera about the events that we've gone through in like a 15, 20 year period.
As millennials, it's been crazy.
It's absolutely insane. Like, right now, because I won't go into time theory with you because that's a whole different podcast. Right. I've heard the theory that, time is not linear. It's happening. Like the past is happening now, the present is happening now, and the future is happening. It's like happening all at once.
Simultaneously. Yeah, I've heard the same. Right.
I can imagine at this moment, it's like, what are we, 2026? It's 2056. And these kids, if they're still books, they're looking in their books and they're like, yo, what did they have going on 30? Right. Like, what the hell? Like, y'all got to ask y'all grandparents. They're going right back to their grandparents like, yo, what was y'all on? Right. And I wish I had the answer for y'all. I wish I had the answer.
I would just like summarize it and say a whole lot. A whole lot.
So if y'all watching this on the hollow tapes, just know we still trying to figure it out. We did not learn from the events of centuries before, and this is cyclical. Hopefully y'all broke the cycle, but I do not have that much faith.
Yes,
anyway,
yeah.
So I had the moment, and I call it my effort moment, when it's the moment where the straw that breaks the camel's back puts the camel out of action. It was the last thing that happened. I had a performance review. And I pretty much had the guy in the performance review question whether or not I was professionally fit for the job. Mind you, we've had weekly meetings where he's told me I've been doing a phenomenal job and waited until we got in front of VPs to try to throw me under the bus. I don't know what it was about him. I don't know what it was. Like, even to the point where the VP had to come to me and apologize. Like, yo, that should have never happened.
Right.
But it was at that moment that I realized, yo, this isn't my calling. Now, around that same time, I had been dabbling in all forms of digital media. So as these mediums grew and they were developed and they came on the scene, I was learning them. So I started off as blogging. I was podcasting. I started social media management. I was doing everything, writing. And at the blog era times, I would be writing for different websites. I had my own personal blog. It was just what you did. If you were a creator, it was just what you did. That's how you got your name out there, and that's how you perfected your craft. It wasn't until one day where I was, shout out to the site Madame Noir. They had like a series, Ask a Black Man series.
I remember that series.
Yeah, and they tapped me to be a part of it. Me and my guy Deval Ellis. Y'all seen him? I see him on BET.
I know Deval. Yeah.
So we went to school together.
That make y'all. First of all, Hofstra 1, 2, Queens. Got it.
Exactly. He a Brooklyn dude. I ain't gonna let him claim.
Okay, my bad. My wife has his book upstairs. The book with him and his wife. Yeah.
So the ties are deep, right? So we went on that show, and I remember afterwards watching it, and objectively just watching it. And I said, I look kind of natural doing this on camera.
Right.
And I'm somebody, I've performed. I used to step in college. I've done all types of performance, so it's not new to me. Right. But when you see it in those settings where you're actually talking in words on camera, and that's the main point, I was like, whoa, maybe this is something I should follow. And that opened a whole new world for me. That's when I started doing red carpet correspondence. That's when I started going to press junkets and interviewing your favorite celebs for TV shows and movies and all of those type of things. And I just kept, I was doing all of this freelance while I was working my full-time job. Right. Just stacking my portfolio, getting better. The moment where I knew, oh, this is real, was when I got called in to audition for a pilot, which is now BET Her. It used to be called Centric, but now it's BET Her. In the old days, they were doing they were creating some type of like relationship show, and they wanted comedians and talking heads to do kind of like VH1, like the I Love the 90s, I Love the 80s type situation. Yes.
I feel like MTV had a similar show as well.
Right, like Coded.
Coded. Like Lil Duval was on there, Charlamagne the God was on there.
And shout out to Francesca Ramsey. Like she was doing stuff on there too. So I'm auditioning for a talking head. The VP of the network hits me up and is like, yo, good news, bad news. Bad news is I don't think we can use you for the talking head, but we want to know if you would rather be a man on the street correspondent for the show. I'm like, yo, that's like a promotion. And I've never done this before in my life.
Right.
That ain't gonna stop me.
It's a pretty big gig too. Yeah.
Yeah. So I did it. We shot a couple of pilots. It ended up getting picked up for 2 seasons, but I unfortunately was not selected in my Isaiah Thomas voice. Right. I met the requirements, but somehow I wasn't accepted. Right. It was a lot of stuff that went into it. Performance wasn't one of it, but I realized at that moment, for more or less, I came off the street and scored a role on a TV show that got picked up for 2 seasons. There's got to be something there.
Right.
So I made the decision after that whole performance review thing that I was going to get into media. I don't care what I have to do. I gave myself a target date. For like the next year and a half, I was updating my resume, continuing to do my freelance media, just grinding. And then I got the opportunity to interview for Bleacher Report. And I let my guys know, you let me in here, I'm not leaving. And I'll be 10 years at that company next month.
Crazy. Well, congratulations on the 10 years, bro.
Thank you.
And anytime you can stay that long at any company, particularly with how volatile the space is right now, I mean, you got to tip your cap to that, man. So congratulations on that, bro. That's
very lucky. And I tell you a lot of it, and you'll know, like, people will tell you from the industry, a lot of it is luck. Your name on that spreadsheet just didn't come up,
right?
Or your balance, you know, it's like Mott in ancient Egypt. My heart has been the same weight as that spreadsheet for all these times the numbers have come up. So Mott and Osiris and them didn't have to give me the thumbs down or send me to the Elysian fields or whatnot. But yeah, man, it's a lot of longevity, and I credit Bleacher Report with unlocking a new level of my creative, where I did learn to collaborate with others. Solo creation and team creation are 2 totally different animals. Completely like when you create as a team, that idea ain't your idea no more. The minute you put it on the table, it's the team's idea. So they can do whatever they want with it. And you might hate it, but it will elevate whatever you were thinking of before.
Right. I always attributed to, like, obviously me being a recording artist, like, I really had to learn to listen to the producer and listen to the engineer, because they are now whatever idea you have for a song, after that it becomes everybody's idea, and everybody has input, and everybody, because the producer and engineer are always going to hear things, and there are things that you're not going to be recognized as the artist. So it's important to listen, like you said, when you're working with a group trying to do content, and you got the idea, it becomes everybody's. And honestly, once you're able to let go of it being your idea, it all becomes easier, and it makes for a better product at the end of the day. So
for sure.
Yeah, man. So I wanted to get into your time at MSG. Shout out to Talea, shout out to everybody that was there at the time. 100%. Kofi's still there. Shout out to Kyle, everybody that was there. But you were a part of kind of like this initiative to bring like content about wagering and betting into the MSG space, and it also kind of aligned with the resurgence of this organization that we adore so much. So what is it like being at MSG during that time when, we went from the Knicks losing 16 games or winning 16 games a year to all of a sudden now we got content about Dykeman on MSG, and the Knicks are flourishing and the Rangers are flourishing? What is it like being in that mix, particularly you being a New York guy as well? Bro,
I lived a dream I didn't even dream before.
Right.
I didn't even realize that it could be a dream. Like if you told me 20 years ago, yo, you gonna be on MSG Networks hosting a show, I probably would have said, about what? Well, what show am I hosting on MSG? Because, my mind wasn't even there.
Right.
I wasn't even where I am now. Like then it was a totally different version of me. So I wouldn't have even fathomed this. But once I got even getting into media full time and working on my craft, no matter how much confidence I had in myself, I just didn't envision it.
Right.
And after it happened, I just realized I must have been dreaming too small. Right. I need to increase my dream levels, right? Like I need to up the levels a bit. Right. So it's fantastic, man. And yeah, at the time we were there, that was like, I got there, funny enough, our first year was the year that they missed the playoffs in 21-22 when they signed Kemba and Evan Fournier. Right. And then I was there for the Brunson year, the first year of JB. So it was fantastic to watch that metamorphosis along with the foundation, building the foundation for my broadcast career.
Right.
Like it was really surreal. And when you grow up, especially in New York, and I'll even expand it to the major cities, but I can only speak on New York because I'm a native New Yorker. When you work on the networks that you grew up watching as a New Yorker for years and years, that would be the equivalent like if I was an anchor for Channel 11, Pix 11.
Right.
It's something that was a foundation of your life. You knew 6 o'clock, 11 o'clock news was on. MSG, Knicks, Rangers. You know, old enough to remember when the Yankees were on there once upon a time, right?
On Friday nights. They used to be on there on Friday nights. I remember. Yeah.
Exactly. You get all the Giants coverage,
right.
Jets coverage. Like this MSG was the RSN. And then when you think about it from the business perspective, you're working on the #1 RSN in the largest media market in the world.
In the world, yeah. I mean,
in the world.
Right.
Like that's just mind blowing. And you're still local.
Right.
You're still local with a national sized audience. And I felt a little bit of the burden of representing for New Yorkers. Like I didn't take that responsibility lightly.
Right.
That I'm a New Yorker from New York that is representing on the New York station. Like I gotta come correct. Right. I gotta bring my best every day, and I gotta cherish it.
Right.
You gotta cherish those moments because you don't know you're in the good old days until them days is gone.
Right.
So those were one of the moments where I said, yeah, these are the good old days now. I don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow or next year, but these are the good old days. Like, can nobody tell me these are the bad old days?
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
No question. And you are being a New York guy. I've always said that New York is always a very prideful place. I lived there for 10 years. I wasn't born in New York, but living there for 10 years as an adult changed my mind frame about New York. You are, to me, the Q borough president. Anything regarding Queens, you are on and you support wholeheartedly. Get into your love of the borough that you are from. I see the Queens insignia in the background.
Frame you up.
Talk about it. I got you. We'll zoom in on that when we clip this up. We'll zoom in on that. I got you.
Yeah, I mean, bro, it is a part of my identity, right? Like, I saw somebody call it the United States of New York. That's how I feel. It's like you pledge allegiance to the borough. It's like I was born. I was raised in Queens, right? Like I spent the majority of my life in that borough. I met my friends, went to school there. My family was there. My neighborhoods, multiple neighborhoods that I lived in that borough, right? Even up to adulthood. Like if you told me I would be living in apartments in Queens, in certain parts of Queens, I would have said, "Are you James St. Patrick? Like, what's going on?" But it's just, once again, couldn't even fathom the type of dreams I could live in the life that I would live and have it tied back to Queens. And it is robust pride that I have in it because it helped forge me into who I am today, right? Like I wouldn't have this accent that I have. I wouldn't have the perspectives that I have. I wouldn't have the mentality that I had if I wasn't from that borough. Like I credit New York City in general, right? I could be snobbish about my borough, but Queens is so unique. And I say that because, you know, people make all the jokes about how we have 15 versions of like 211 Street, right? Like as if we can't tell the difference between an avenue and a court.
If you've never been there before, you don't live there, it can be a little jarring and confusing. But for me, my Queens card is good. I stayed in Laurelton for a summer. You know what I mean? When I was interning, so I'm good. So I was able to understand it and figure it out fairly quickly, as you do when you live in New York City. You just have to figure out things quickly. So it can be a little jarring, but Queens is such a special borough.
It is, man. It is so many cultures.
Right, the most diverse borough in the city, and also, I mean, recently the Coliseum got closed down, and I'm not gonna lie to you, Jeff, that joint kind of hurt me, man. I'm not gonna lie, because that summer, it's 2004. I was interning at Regis and Kelly. So I was staying with my aunt in Marlton. Nice. Right. But me and my man Ham would be on the Ave and go to the Coliseum. I mean, 3 times a week. I'm getting mixtapes. I'm getting my T-shirts. I'm getting, I'm talking to shorties, whole nine. You know what I mean? Like that was. I didn't know Queens was like that just because it was so far from anything that I was used to. I grew up in New Jersey and I went to high school in Philly, and it was just so far from anything I was used to. But that summer was one of the greatest summers I've ever had in my life, and I attribute that to being in Queens. It's a special place, man. Special place.
Yeah,
special place.
It reminds you of how ephemeral your childhood could be,
right,
because nothing lasts forever.
Right.
Even though I wasn't frequenting the Coliseum like over the last few years, the fact that I knew it was there and I could go whenever I want and go get a beef patty from the corner of 165 and it tastes like I'm in Kingston.
Right. Oh man.
Like it's one of the best beef patties. Yeah. That shop had one of the best beef patties in the city. In the city.
No question.
None.
I even say that, I even go a step further. I think Queens has the best Caribbean food top to bottom in the city. Better than the Bronx, better than Brooklyn. I know my Brooklyn cats are gonna be like, you bugging, but I am not bugging. Merrick, the Merrick Boulevard,
that strip alone,
bro.
It gets spooky. It gets spooky. Once you bring Merrick in, it gets kind of spooky.
I try to tell people, and being that Merrick is so far out, people don't really give it the just due that it needs to, because the section that all the restaurants are closer to Long Island than like where like Jamaica Station is. But I mean, bro, like all over Queens though, like the food in Queens to me, even if you go to Astoria, you want to go get some Greek food, banging. You know what I mean? You want to go get some Peruvian food, banging. You want to get some Colombian. I mean, Queens really is one of the ones, bro. You know what I mean?
Man, and that's part of the cultures that you develop. Like, for instance, right? One of the ill things about Queens, as opposed to every other borough, and people don't realize it until you have to mail something. If I mail something to Brooklyn, the Bronx, Staten Island, or Manhattan, you're mailing it to Manhattan.
Right.
Queens, you're mailing it to the town.
Right.
You don't just say Queens, New York. You got to say Queens Village. You got to say Astoria. You got to say Jackson Heights.
St. Albans. You got to say
Albans.
Right.
Like that. That's just our mentality. It's like we are the most territorial borough because we're about our towns first. Right. So it's like if you a Brooklyn guy, it don't matter what part of Brooklyn. Like it do, but then y'all are unified in Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. You'll have guys who are like, yo, I don't mess with them Jackson Heights dudes. Right. I don't mess with them Astoria dudes.
Right.
Like it's ill like that because every neighborhood has its own identity, and that creates like this kaleidoscope of culture that you will have within Queens, and that's why I have so much pride in it. From like the hip hop that's come from the borough, from all the music, the culture, the art. Like it just. I don't know the person that I would be if I was from anywhere else.
I mean, big ups to Queens, the Q borough. Like I said, you are to me the Q borough president. I don't know a guy that represents Queens more and better than you. So shout out to you.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that.
Of course. I want to get into our beloved Bockers.
Yes, sir.
I really do. It's tough to explain to people propaganda and the narratives that are pushed, but Knicks for clicks is a real thing.
Oh yeah.
And I don't think people outside of New York or even outside of the fan bases really understand. I'm not even saying fan bases. New York in general gets a bad rep about everything, but it is main character syndrome, I believe. So yeah. Like, could you get into like just how volatile and how entertaining the Knicks for clicks narrative can be online?
Oh yeah, I've dubbed it the Knicks for clicks industrial complex. This is bigger than Nino Brown, brother. This is deeper and bigger than Nino Brown. This is like the proper use of gaslighting. It is gaslighting a fan base into believing that the stuff that you reported or the things that they believe is because of irrational confidence, not because of what y'all are saying.
Right.
Perfect example. The summer where KD and Kyrie were free agents. Go back and check the tapes. Everybody that had quote-unquote sources said them two are going to be Knicks. Last minute, they changed their mind and wanted to go to the Nets, what was the headlines? Knicks miss out. Oh, they thought just because they were the Knicks, they haven't been good in X amount of years, that they were going to get these free agents. Who deluded themselves into believing that? And I'm sitting here like, all of y'all said it. It was to the point where, and then remember, that was also the Zion year, the Zion draft.
Right. We ended up with RJ. We ended up with RJ.
Right. We got third in the draft lottery. And then Knicks fans got blamed for the ping pong balls not falling where they supposed to fall, right? So it's those are like a couple of examples of what Knicks for Clicks truly is. And it was, in simple terms, Knicks for Clicks is engagement baiting. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what it is. It's rage baiting. It's engagement baiting. And it's inciting a fan base that content creators, broadcast people, media companies, they know if you say something crazy about the Knicks, this online fan base will engage with us to tell us how wrong we are. Right. That means they will click on our articles. They will repost and quote tweet things that we say. They will view our show just to see if we will finally keep it real about their team. And they won't have to keep it real. Never. They could just keep going because we start the cycle, and the cycle continues and continues. And what I always say, y'all, is I don't hate the player, but that doesn't mean I can't tell you how the game is being played. Right. Very, very, and very true. And that's all that Knicks for Clicks is. And this is different than criticism. Right. We are fanatics, right? Fan is short for fanatics. So everybody's a little bit crazy about the teams that they support. Right. But we also know the difference between legit criticism because, hey, we could be the worst on our team. Oh, bro. We could be the worst on our team because we're in it day in, day out. So we see a lot of the BS that a lot of folks don't see. Mm-hmm. And we'll call it out. That's the thing about being a New Yorker. We will put you on blast if we see something that's funny style, and it's on you to step up or step out, right? So if you say like, hey, Knicks giving up too many threes, or no, they don't be getting back in transition like that, that's fair. Right. But now when you start to create narratives, like this has happened for the last 3 or 4 years, where whoever the Knicks are facing in the first round automatically become the sexy upset pick. And you just hear for the whole week, not about what the Knicks are doing, but what the other team, whoever it is, could do in order to knock the Knicks out in the first round. I'll give you another example. All we heard about for the month of March was that the Knicks win streak was against teams under 500. Right. As if they made the schedule, right? Whatever. Right? That's all we heard. And then the narrative was, Owen, they have not beaten a team above 500 in 5 straight games. Devoid of the context that they played 7 straight games against teams that were below 500.
And won them all.
Right? Because if they lost, then it would be even bigger problem. Right. Flip side, the Atlanta Hawks went something like 20-5, because I'll throw out the Miami game. They went 20-5 over their last 25 before the last game of the season. 5 of those wins were against teams above 500. And you'll hear it more as a footnote than as a narrative, this embellished criticism. And it is because, and I've had people tell me this, they don't know nobody care about those teams, but they know people care about the Knicks. And it is part. That's how the complex operates. Right. It operates to get this engagement so that they can get paid and keep going. And hey, I'm in media. I work in media. Ask me how I know that fan bases get targeted for engagement.
I mean, bro, it happens to us. Us more than anybody else, but the Lakers are in that group as well. Oh yeah, it gets crazy with them. I mean, the Cowboys obviously, It's whatever's going to drive engagement. Like you said, sometimes it's fair. A lot of times it's unfair. Recently, well, not so recently, maybe about a month and a half ago, your colleague on your platform, Jonathan Macri, made some.
His yearly rant.
Listen, it's funny because I'm a big fan of Macri, man. Like, I'm a huge fan. I'm actually gonna have Kevin on this week. Me and Kev go back years, so I'm gonna have Kevin on this week. And I'm a big fan of Macri. And Macri, when after that Pistons game, I think he was just so visibly upset, which was probably the sentiment of most Knicks fans that day, because of obviously not only not beating the Pistons, but just not showing up against them, and knowing that what could be down the line for us later on in the playoffs. But Macri went a little heavy on the team, saying this is the most unlikable group. He has since backtracked, and obviously I think a lot of times we say things in anger, and I particularly as Knicks fans, sometimes you just go off the ledge. But talk to us about that moment, because I was watching it live, and it's funny because when you watch things live, a lot of times you don't expect things to go lighter fluid viral when you're watching them, but then all of a sudden it happens. It's like, oh. So speak to me about what the dialogue was within the group after Macri's explosive comments that night.
Right. So the minute he said that, I knew it was going up.
Right.
I said, "Oh, this is the one." That's exactly what I said. And you've been in content, you've produced, you've done all those major stuff, right? Mm-hmm. You just have an eye for it. I knew when they lost the way they lost, he was gonna go off.
Right.
It's almost like if you play video games, right? There's a game, Final Fantasy, and there's a move that you can do in the game called a limit break. Mm-hmm. And it's basically you're fighting, and you get to a point. If you like anime like Dragon Ball Z, you get to the point where you're hurt, and you only have one more move left. Like you're expending all your energy to do this major move that can turn the tide of the fight. Mm-hmm. I saw his limit break gauge blinking, like while the game was going on. And he'll send like tweets and stuff, and I'm like, oh yeah, if they lose this, he's going off. And when it happened, I was like, oh, we're going to get a crash out. We're going to get another legendary crash out. Right. And he did. And, we have conversations. Like, trust me when I say any conversation we have in private, like within reason. Right. But what I'm saying is, if I have a criticism or I have something, we're not just holding it back because, we're on the same squad or whatever the case be. No. When that happened, folks were like, I'm laughing about it. Right. Honestly, I'm laughing because I'm like, yeah, you're going to calm down. I also understand the context of it. Mm-hmm. When you come from the season that they had last season and the way it ended, right? Especially with that game 1 against the Pacers, with the way that it ended, he was already at his breaking point. Right. So now if you change the coach, you do all these things, you need to come in with a different mindset. Mm-hmm. And if you're not showing that requisite determination and hustle and grit, and you just, messing around, then it's like, he loses all inhibitions and he goes all the way in. Mm-hmm. And now I challenged it, and I continued to challenge. Like, people hit me about it, and I said, I was like, I don't agree with him. Right. And I've said, like, I think the team is very likable. You know what else I like? Championships. Right. I do not care if this was a team full of mercenaries. Right. I would revere them as if they were draft picks that were with the team for 9 years because they did the one thing that everybody else in the history of my fandom hasn't done for this team. Mm-hmm. So you already get elevated into the pantheon of greatness. Like I've said, within sports, I feel like the Knicks title is the prize. It is. I think it's the most illustrious prize for a team to win right now across all 4 major sports. Before that, it was the Cubs breaking their 100-year curse. Right. Once they broke that in 2016, then it shifted to the Knicks breaking that 53-year curse. Mm-hmm. After that, I don't know what else it may be. Maybe it's the next three-peat. Maybe it's the next three-peat in baseball, basketball. Maybe it's...
Maybe the Cowboys. Maybe it's the Cowboys.
Maybe it is the... See, but you know what? It might be. It might be the Cowboys.
It's been a while.
That might pass to the Cowboys. Yeah. Because now there's nobody else of the same level of repute and notoriety that's up there, that is glaring, that, hey, you haven't won in X amount of years. Right. Because, Sacramento hasn't won a title since, 1951. Right. Like, they have the longest drought in the history of the league.
And nobody says a peep. Because nobody cares about
we just told people, we just informed people for the first time what that longest drought is, and nobody really cares.
Right.
So that might be the next one, but that's why I said this is the high risk, high reward jersey that you wear. Because if you are able to win a title here, like, bro, honestly, yes, we're gonna want more, 100%,
of course,
but you've done your job, which is why, like, for example, LeBron don't ever got to go back to Cleveland and play a second of basketball again. He did his job.
He'll be revered forever.
Yeah. No Cavs fan will hate that man or should hate that man.
Ever.
That's really what it was. So when John made those comments, I was laughing, bro. I was laughing. I thought it was hilarious. I didn't agree, but I understood where he came from.
Right. I mean, it was an anger filled night. I mean, bro. I mean, I was pissed too. It's like you're just waiting for them to show up, and it was like we had just won a couple of games in a row. We had been playing well. I'm saying first game after the All-Star break. It's like they waxed us twice already. Let's show them that this is serious business. And it was just like, yo, are we laying down again? You know what I mean? And it was just like, so I understood it from that standpoint. But, man, he took a beating online that night, man. Macri took – I mean, there were people saying F Macri and that dumbass show, even though – listen, one thing about me, bro, I'm going to keep it a buck. Like, this era of Knick content creators between CP and Knick Fan TV, between you guys at Film School, I think Knick's Wall has dissolved, but Shrimmy and them as well. Like, all these guys making this – all these guys making this content – for a fan base that is extremely loyal, extremely attentive, and extremely locked in. I think it's just been something that we have been striving for. And like the content creators are microcosms of what this fan base really is in the grand scheme of sports and sports fandom. So I'm thankful to all you guys for the work you guys have done and the amount of content you guys put out to keep us engaged and keep us encouraged. You know, like this signing up for this is something I'm not sure if I was willing to do if I look back 30 years ago. You know what I mean? Right. Like, but like the last 7-8 years have just been really gratifying, just being on the space with you guys, and I'm just really thankful.
Yeah, man. I'm thankful to be a part of it too, man. Like, once again, if you'd have told me I was gonna be creating content around the Knicks or even the NBA or even sports, I would have said. How? I would have said, I thought I was going to school for computer science. When did that zag happen?
Indeed.
But, you know, and I think our fan base deserves it. No question. I think we do deserve it because we are so loyal, because we're so tapped in, and there is a hunger for this type of content that I think multiple content creators are able to satiate, and there is room. I live through an abundance mentality, man. Just because I win doesn't mean you lose and vice versa. That doesn't mean there's a finite amount of the pie. The pie is everlasting. You just got to be the type of chef that can make something that people want to eat. That's really what it is. Listen, and we all can thrive. Right.
No, I always say there's plenty of paths to the same goal. So like whatever your path is, I recently, you know, I just made a post about this. Just like, yo, post the content.
Yep.
Post it. You know what I mean?
Put it up, man.
What's the worst that can happen? You know what I mean? Like, somebody's gonna like it. That's just what it is. It might be 1, it might be 2, it might be 1,000. Somebody's gonna like it. So,
and you never know who's watching.
Never know who's watching.
Because even with me and MSG, right? It was funny how it happened because, you know, I'm posting videos all the time, and I just post from the heart.
Right.
I wasn't super production. I just posted from the heart. And I'm still building up my portfolio. And I'll never forget, it was July of 21. I get a call. It's Talea. Talea's like, yo, what's your situation? What's your current like work situation and stuff right now? So we start talking, and then she's like, yo, you know I started at MSG. And I was like, oh, yeah, no doubt. Like, how's that going? She was like, yo, I walked in here, and we're starting betting shows. And they have their list of names, and you're one of the first names on the list. And mind you, I'm blown away.
Of course.
I was like,
Word? Of course.
I was like, yo, so you know, I was like, yo, say less. Let me know when the audition is. I'm in there. Like, you don't even got to tell. Like, I've already seen myself in the future. Let's just make the players now, right? But I took a step back because I said, yo, people was actually watching my stuff like that enough to put me on a list of potential hosts for MSG?
Right.
What?
Of all places. Right.
Shocked.
Right.
Put up the content, bro.
Right.
You don't know who's watching. You don't know who could change your life.
That's a fact, Jack. That's a fact. So yeah, back to our Bockers.
Yes, sir.
Stark change between 25 and 26. Obviously, we had the fiasco that happened with Indiana, which I don't think I'm ever going to a watch party to watch a game ever again, to be honest with you, because I'm like 0-5 at watch parties in the playoffs over like the last 5 years. So I don't think I'm going to any of them this year. So.
I hear you.
But obviously we had the Indiana fiasco, coaching change, Tibbs, who did a brilliant job for us, but front office and ownership felt like it was time for a change. Mike Brown comes in. The stats say that we are a better team. How do you feel about the 26 Knicks versus the 25 Knicks?
I feel like the 25, 26 Knicks are realizing the potential that the 24, 25 Knicks could never really get to. Mm-hmm. The 24, 25 Knicks were consistent.
Right.
For better or worse.
Right.
They were consistent.
Right.
You
knew what you were getting.
Talk to people, right. If you talk to people who are on nutrition plans and they're trying to get in shape, we got, 69 more days until the summer, whatever case may be, they'll tell you, I'm kind of like this. Yeah, I eat the same thing every day.
Right.
I eat the same thing every day. I follow my workout, blah, 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 blah. In this instance, it would be like as if you followed the same nutrition plan and the same workout plan every day.
Right.
You might see little gains here and there, slow and steady win the race. But if you're trying to break that plateau, you got to switch something up. You got to switch nutrition. Maybe you got to get more strict. Maybe you need more calories. Mm-hmm. You might need to switch up your workout. You might need to load more with the weights. Like you might need to lift heavier. You may need to lift lighter. Mm-hmm. You might need to lift on different days or work different body parts. Mm-hmm. I feel like the Knicks just said, we do what we do, how we do it, when we do it, and this is how we're going to go about our business. I called it brute force.
Right.
Like, I love the grit that the Pistons showed. I think if this last year's Knicks had this year's Knicks mentality, that series doesn't go past 5. They brute forced their way through that series. They didn't make too many adjustments and just said, Tibbs was like, yo, y'all are better than them. I'm not adjusting nothing. Go out and be better than them.
Right.
Go play.
Right.
And yeah, if you were playing street ball, maybe, but that doesn't really work, right? And the numbers will say, I think this year's team utilized their bench way more than last year. Mm-hmm. I don't think someone like Mo Diawara arises last year, unless barring
injury
catastrophe.
Right. I've been thoroughly impressed with his performance this year, and he may not see many minutes in the playoffs, but it is something to kind of hang your hat on for the future because, like you said, bro, if this is a Tibbs-led squad, there's no chance we're seeing Diawara have any minutes. It would be
not like that, right?
No. He played big minutes for us this year. Big minutes.
Yes. And remember, guys like Landry Shamet, who Tibbs looked at Game 2 against Indiana and said, "Oh, is that Landry Shamet? Yo, let me try him."
Right.
Delon Wright, come on down.
Right.
And what do you know? They were effective. You didn't have that this year.
Right.
Overall, minutes are down. The minutes did decrease somewhat, but they've been across the board, whether it's win percentage, the offensive rating, the defensive rating. The minutes per game for the starters went down on average. The bench points, their bench is scoring almost 10 points more per game than they did last season. And think about this. The Knicks won 2 more games than last year's team, dealing with way more injury variance. Because last year's team was healthy for the most part. You had like a few weeks for Brunson, a couple of weeks for OG, little games here and there out. But for the most part, they were super healthy.
Right.
This year's team was not as much. They had to deal with a lot of injuries to core people, and they still won 2 more games than they did last year. Now, they've had 2 stretches where it was like, what the hell's going on? Like that 2-9 stretch that really cratered any chance of them winning like 55 plus 60 games.
Right.
And, people have said it's inconsistent, and I've even called them inconsistent. But I think what you've seen over the final week is a team who knows, all right, it's money time. Now we're going to play for real. Now we're going to play with our playoff focus. That's what you saw in the last week. Those games with Atlanta and Boston, those were the playoff Knicks.
Locked in. They were locked in.
100% locked in. It's no games. Yo, you got the lead in the fourth. We're walking you down.
Right. That's it.
We're going to go band for band, and let's see who stacks more bread. Right. Like, that's what it is. Like, that's a team that folks are quick to pick against because you feel like you don't know what they're going to get, what you're going to get, but they already know.
Right.
And I think this team is more prepared offensively. I also know that if something doesn't work, there's going to be an adjustment made, and quickly.
Right.
The key term.
Right.
Quickly, not when the back is against the wall and the rent is due.
Right.
Right now, there's going to be changes, and all their players have been put in the best positions to win. Even with the whole Cat Mike Brown, I don't know my role, will he, won't he drama that happened, I think they finally found the happy medium.
Common ground.
Look at somebody like Jordan Clarkson and his saga.
Right.
Yo, this man came back. He got back in the rotation. Oh, I just got to lock up? Jordan, I didn't know you did that.
Right. Listen, I didn't know that was... I had no idea he had that in him as far as like energetic point of attack defense, fighting through screens, on ball, off ball, like making sure he's attached to his assignment, and also just like attention to detail to the scouting report. Listen, I've been thoroughly impressed with the majority of this team. Like you said, the 2-9 stretch was tough. A couple of the 3-game losing streaks we had later on in the year were tough, but I mean, 50 something wins, 53 wins, I believe.
53 wins, and they've increased their win total over the past 4 seasons.
Beat the Spurs twice, beat Celtics 3 times. We've beaten who else? We beat Minnesota once. We beat the Rockets once. The Lakers once. All these so-called contenders, with the exception of Detroit and OKC, we performed.
That's the one blemish.
Right, we performed well against, and we didn't get a game. But now it's money time, so we're going to see. And playoffs are set. We have our matchup. You mentioned everybody picking against us, which is the trendy thing to do. I saw Chandler Parsons today taking the Hawks in 6 against us, even though
Speaking of rent due.
Right.
You know,
touche, sir. Touche.
I'm just saying, like, it's like, I get it. I even see it. They're like, come at us, Knicks fans. Like, no, actually, we won't.
We won't. Like,
we have bigger fish to fry because these Atlanta fans. You want to talk about algorithms? Yo, the For You page is a cesspool. All it does is push. And shout out to Bomani Jones, who has said this repeatedly.
Right.
That For You page is diabolically programmed to push what it knows will piss you off in your For You page. And I'll tap in from time to time. Bro, I haven't seen Atlanta fans like that on my timeline. I go to the For You page and it's Forever I Love Atlanta. Like, bro, it's the Greek picnic.
It's ridiculous.
Freak Nick.
It's ridiculous.
It's ATL Twitter is in my For You page, and everybody's talking crazy. And I love it. I love it. You know, my BR, we're based in Atlanta and along with New York. So I already said the company's officially at Civil War for the next couple of weeks. I was already on a few calls. One of my mans, we was talking about the Knicks Hawk game that time.
Right.
And I was like, yo, we spoke this shit up into existence, bro. I was like, yo, we spoke it up into existence. But it's just funny just seeing that, and I'm like, okay, if I'm an Atlanta fan, I'm gonna ride the history until I can't ride it out no more. So I appreciate that. That's fandom. But if you are a serious pundit and you're trying to twist yourself into a pretzel to pick an upset for the sake of not your integrity, but for the sake of engagement, that's something you have to look in the mirror. Once again, the game is the game.
Really,
and I've been in those positions where it's like, yo, we all can't agree, dog. Somebody gotta be the disagreeing person. Right.
And that's our industry in a nutshell. If you look at shows like First Take, there's gotta be differing opinions in order for it to work, right? But my thing is, like, let's use context, let's use insight, let's use history. This with this iteration of the Hawks has never played a playoff game before once. The Knicks, the last 3 postseasons, have won first round series each year. You're telling me a team with no experience, and listen, it very well might happen. Listen, crazy things happen in the playoffs. No doubt.
Anything can happen. And they all have individually, as a collective, they don't. But CJ's been there before. Don's been there before. Like, they got guys. But it's just like, here's another Knicks for Clicks industrial complex propaganda point, right? We can discredit the Knicks' prior history in the playoffs to exalt another team in the first round over them without consideration for what they did before. But yet I'm supposed to believe the Pistons are locked for the conference finals when they haven't won a playoff series since 2008, and they still haven't won a home playoff game. You're able to project that way, but Knicks fans and creators can't project the same way, like given the burden of proof.
Listen, I just told my man Sean that Sean Geddes from Knicks. He was of the Knicks wall, but like here's the thing, bro.
I hate Sean, money man.
Shout out the dunking man of Knicks Twitter, Knicks Twitter day. Crazy. We'll get to that in a minute. But the one thing I said about the Pistons, and I think the Pistons are a very tough squad, no doubt. Yep. But if you are a basketball historian, an NBA historian, you know. Teams do not go from winning 0 series to winning 3. It is a very tough task for any team to win 1 playoff series. Bernie Bickerstaff has not proven that he can coach a team to winning 1 or 2 series in a certain postseason. You know what I'm saying? So, like, this whole rhetoric that the Pistons are just going to just fly through the Eastern Conference. No, but they're going to have to go through their lumps. If they face that Charlotte team, which there's a sustainable hate, a palpable hate that the Hornets have for the Pistons. And they're playing with house money with nothing to lose, the same way everybody thinks Atlanta's playing with house money. Like, who's to say the Hornets can't take them down? They haven't proven anything yet. I'm not saying they don't have great players, because they do. They're a tough squad. But nobody ever wants to pump the brakes on that unless it's the New York Knicks. So,
and that's the nasty part of it. Right. That's all I'm saying. Because, like, look, if I was a Celtics fan last year, hell yeah, I would have said, I was like, they're getting these boys out of here in 5. They ain't shown me nothing to be scared. Right. I'll say this. The Atlanta games have been close. The one game that the Hawks beat the Knicks by like 12, the Knicks were missing a couple of people. It was what it was. But the games that they've played have been close. Right. Like, I'm not going to sit here and act as though it's not going to be a tough series. I just know, and we're going to go over it later on this week on Knicks Film School. But I've said this a few times. In life, you have to pick a struggle.
Right.
When you pick multiple struggles, that makes your life more difficult.
Right.
Multiple struggles are not like, sometimes you cannot help the multiple struggles. But when you do engage in multiple strugglery, it's going to make it more difficult for you to achieve a goal. Especially when it comes to competition. I think when it comes to this Knicks-Hawk matchup, the Hawks have way more struggles than the Knicks do. Right. Because this starts to become chess. First off, I feel like peak of powers, the Knicks are better than them. Right. If they both come and play their top game, the Knicks are better than them. No question. Right? Secondly, if you talk about what we do well versus what you're weak in, there's a compatibility that doesn't favor the Hawks. Right.
Which is, I'm assuming you're talking about the big man matchup with Cat and Mitch.
The boards in general, bro. It's like both teams stink in transition. The difference is the Knicks aren't going to stop your transition before it happens, because they'll grab the defensive board or they'll grab their own offensive boards and go back up, or they'll grab the defensive board so that you don't get second chance points. Right. And they try not to turn over the ball as much, so that you can't get into transition as well. So it's like, there's definitely that big man matchup, because it's like, who's going to guard Cat, and then who's going to block out Mitch? Right.
Nobody. I mean, they don't have anything for that. But like that's the matchup. I mean, that's the advantage we have, as well as we have the closer. You know what I mean? Like, I just watched y'all try to go to Kuminga down the stretch in that game to go get a bucket in the clutch, and I'm like, yo, listen, that's not going to cut it in late April. Like, it's just not. So we'll see what happens in that regard. I'm confident in the Knicks winning in less than 6 games at some point. So I consider myself to be a pretty pessimistic Knicks fan, but the matchup doesn't, like, I don't fear teams that have never been there, bro. I just don't. You know what I mean? So they got to prove it to me first. So my last question regarding the Knicks, and then we'll get into my rapid fire segment. What is the one thing that you think is standing in the way of and ultimately a ticker tape parade for the New York Knickerbockers?
The New York Knickerbockers.
Fair. Fair.
They got to look in the mirror. Mm-hmm. Like if they play the right way for a majority of this for an overwhelming majority, if they come in with the same energy that they had against Atlanta and against Boston, and they let the chips fall where they may, I feel like that is an acceptable way to go out, however you go out, whether you're going out on top or you fall short. You could say, like, yo, we did everything we could. This other team was better than. When you start beating yourself, then it leaves that bad taste in your mouth because you know that you let yourself down.
Right.
You let yourself down. I feel like this is on them. They have the tools to beat everybody that's in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. East and West. I'm wholeheartedly believe that. Yes.
Yeah, East. Like I do not fear a team in this playoff for them.
Right.
And they should feel the same way.
I agree. So hopefully this June, you and I will be sipping some type of alcoholic beverage down the Cannon of Heroes at some point. I'm hoping to link up with all my. I mean, I would. It's funny. I just told. I told Sean this yesterday. I said the first person. When we clinch our game, that fourth game in that finals, I'm running upstairs. I'm waking my daughter up, and I'm running around the neighborhood. I don't care what time it is. That's just a non-negotiable for me. That's what's going to happen. So
yeah, and you know, I hate to tell you, but that's going to be the series finale of the NBA.
Oh, it's over. It's the series
finale.
It's over.
I don't think there's going to be an NBA after that.
It might be. Listen, Jeff, it might be a series finale of New York City in general. It might, if we're keeping it tall.
Listen, bro. The mayor's going to be in a tough position,
bro.
He might have to be out there himself to direct traffic.
We beat the Celtics. The kid climbed the marquee at Madison Square Garden. He climbed on top of it. I mean, listen.
I just hope everybody's safe. Like
safe and sound.
Safe and sound. While out safely.
Safe and sound. We all in this together. There should be no beef that day at all. There should be no.
I'm gonna keep it real. If there's a clinching game in the finals, if they do make it that far, and the clinching game is whatever day. Oh, the entire NYPD is going to be outside.
No question.
They're probably going to. It's going to be whack, but they're probably going to just have enough presence. Like, yo, y'all cannot burn this shit down. Which I'm off. There was So there was a watch party. I remember there were watch parties right outside the Garden.
Yes.
And after those watch parties, when the Knicks won, NYPD was quick. All right, everybody go home.
Clear it out.
We're not doing that today.
Yeah,
we're not doing that today, y'all.
Right. My wife and my daughter just walked in from a walk.
Love it.
Uncle Jeff says hi, y'all.
Hey.
All right, so we're going to get into my rapid fire dope segment.
Yes, sir.
Quick questions, this or that, whatever the case may be. There'll be some Knicks stuff, some pretty creative stuff here. So
I love it.
All right. Remember, off air, I asked you if I wanted to confirm if you were Haitian, right? So
yes, sir.
I'm asking you, Thanksgiving, tasso, or what is it called?
Griot.
Griot. Yes, tasso or griot.
There's your answer right there.
Right.
Like I'll eat lamb. I'll goat. Excuse me. I'll eat that, but it's good. But griot is S-tier,
the griot and the black rice combination is a top tier joint, bro. It really is.
Yeah, save your tinfoil hat. Talk about pork, brother. Send that my way.
I make exceptions for jerk pork, bacon, and griot. Those are the two.
Yeah, because shout out to my Muslim brothers, my Jewish brothers and sisters, my Muslim brothers and sisters. Like I get it. Like there's certain ones that are on the no-fly list, but yeah, bro. Like some of them gotta get an exemption. Bro.
Right. All right. Next question. Give me the most famous person in your contact list.
Wow.
Hey man, listen. That's a good question. My wife just walked by. She was like, "Ooh."
Who would that be? Who would be the most? You know what? Shit.
I mean, she said it's a risky question. I didn't say he had to call.
No, I'm not
right now.
Yeah, I'm not betraying trust.
Right. Okay, whatever.
They won't get in my phone. So you know what I'm saying? Like, I'd say it probably is. Shoot, it might either be Bomani Jones.
Okay, that's a good one.
Or Amari Hardwick.
Ooh, well, listen, that's a nice little notch on your belt right there.
Those are I'd say those are the two right now. Like if I had to put it out there.
Okay.
Sean Geddes is a not too distant third because, he got that paper, bro. Like I'm just saying, like if you don't know now, you know. Sean Geddes is
right.
I hate Sean. He
getting to it. Yeah, man. All right, next question. Without mentioning Illmatic,
yes,
what is the best rap album to come out of Queens? Yeah, Jeff. Yeah. Ponder on that for a second. I was thinking about asking you that question to prepare you before the show, but I was like, nah.
This is good.
Right. Because look, listen. There's a lot. There's so many. Queens for me, and I think a lot of people agree, is the best borough for rappers to me. Like we're talking about Nas, we're talking about Mob, LL Cool J, 50, Tribe. It's just Lloyd Banks. There's a gang of folks that might have that title of best album coming out of Queens.
Listen, there's so much history, and this is what I say. Like I tell people, all jokes aside, I say Brooklyn has like the best quality per capita. Mm-hmm. I would say that because you just had legends that came out of there. Like having Biggie and Jay-Z both from your same borough is putting your thumb on the scale. You know what I mean?
Right.
But in terms of pioneers, legends, undeniable rappers, and people who held down their eras,
right.
I think pound for pound. Like if you did a versus of Queens versus Brooklyn hip hop, if you did a versus of that, and there was a cap on artists where you could have just spam Hove and spam
Big. Right.
I'm telling you. So I'm gonna say I was leaning to the Infamous.
That's a good choice.
But I feel like I want to say Mama Said Knock You Out.
Listen. You will get no argument from me regarding LL. LL is one of my favorite rappers.
I want to say that as much as the answer might be the Infamous, because like it's like now I'm like running through my like Rolodex of like Queens rappers, and I'm like, yo, there were so many classics, but I feel like LL isn't mentioned enough.
I'll give you that. So I'll give
he you know what he's like? He's almost like Shaq for me in the sense that people are trying to erase Shaq from history.
Right.
Like his dominance was something anybody could do.
Right.
And LL was like a singular, like he was the celebrity rapper before there were celebrity rappers.
No
like
question.
It's very different, bro.
The LL catalog of albums and singles, and also he's got battles under his belt. I mean, you can't say a bad thing about LL.
Five Tool.
Can I give you a sleeper for best album out of Queens? Lost Boys, Legal Drug Money.
Listen, that was right here. Because like I know people, if you say that, you're like, yo, get out of here. But this Lost Boys, Legal Drug Money is one of the best. You had to be there.
Oh, no question.
Albums
no question.
That has ever dropped. I remember on Twitter once somebody said, "What's one song where you just had to be there?" Mm-hmm. And somebody quote tweeted with Nina Sky, "Pon the Replay."
Right.
Oh, not Rob. Pon the Replay is what you call Rihanna.
That's Rihanna.
You know the
Right. I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about. Like
yes.
you got the 1 a.m.
Right. That was a vibe, though. It was a vibe.
Yeah, like the Nina Sky joint. It's like if I were to play it in 2026, y'all would be like, "What the hell?" But I'm like, "Yo, bro, you when it was out, this was like the song had people talking irrationally about what they could do. Right. No
like
question.
With
move your body.
Right.
All of that. Nina,
bro. We might have to do a documentary on Nina Sky and that like 2-year stretch they had because it was tough. Remember they had a song with Nori? Like that blew up. They helped Nori like go into a whole nother demographic of reggae. I mean, bro, it was listen.
Right.
Nina
Sky was Boricua,
Dominicana.
Colombia. Yo, And I can't even, the thing about Nina Scott, I can't even call them one-hit wonders. They had more than one hit.
They had joints, bro.
They had more than one
joints,
hit.
bro.
But it's like Legal Drug Money, like that to me is like my early years.
Right.
And also when you are either from those hoods or adjacent to those hoods where you know people from there, you know what they're talking about. Then you know the blocks that they're shouting out. You know the crews. It just hits different. It's that context. It's like the similar context when you watch a spin-off show and you go back to the main show and they mention certain things and you can still get the full effect. You can still get an effect and know it meant something, but you don't know how deep it meant something unless you had that prior context.
Right.
That's why, like, and it was a perfect album.
Perfect, bro.
If you wanted to say, you know what I'll say about that album as far as for your sleeper? If you wanted to say, what was Queens culture like in the 90s? Give them Lost Boys Legal Drug.
Right. Are you down to go?
And Loki, you give them the War Report.
What?
So you get both sides.
So listen, you could if you said War Report, I couldn't argue that one either. I mean, bro, that's another one that shut down the city for real. You know what I mean? Like, oh man, but yeah,
I remember the signs that was around the city, like who the F is Capone Noriega.
right.
I remember like one of the best marketing campaigns because it was was the marketing. It was in their font. Who the F is Capone Noriega? Like to the point where people were like, "Who are these guys?"
Right.
And then they drop.
It was crazy. All right. Next question. What is your favorite Knicks team based on the season? So for me, 91-92 is my favorite one. That was Mark Jackson, Xavier McDaniel, Jared Wilkins, Pat, obviously. I love the 23-24 Knicks as well. That was another one that we loved. So which one would be yours?
Yeah, I'd say the January 24 Knicks. That's like the what if. Bruh. That's like the 30 for 30 what if team. Jaime Jaquez changed the league. It wasn't intentional, but it changed everything.
Listen, I am of the belief, bro, as the more we play the Celtics now, I wholeheartedly believe that was the year we watched them. Because I remember we played them late in the year, that year, 24. And they threw everything at Jalen Brunson, and they had nothing for him. And this is while Julius was hurt. And I was like, I called my man Jamar. I said, "Yo, I'm not scared of none of them. I'm not scared of nobody in the playoffs."
Listen, if these dudes don't turn into Mugu Guy Pan by the second round and crumble, listen, it would have been spooky. That's all I'm gonna say. If Julius doesn't get hurt,
bro,
everything that we're saying, like we're in a different timeline.
No question.
We're in a different timeline.
No question.
I'll say them, the 99 Knicks that made the lockout year run to the finals.
Right.
The like Spree and Allen Houston carrying that squad with Marcus Camby, LJ, all of them. Yes. Like that was definitely one of my favorite squads. And you know what? I liked the 2012-2013 Melo expendable Knicks with Rashid and Jason Kidd. Yo, they were on a fixed gas tank. The income, gas tank, whatever you want to call it. Yo, they might have been on a fixed income. And they were balling out until the check was due.
Right.
And the check came due and they couldn't pay it, bro.
Right. Okay. All right. Last question. Hypothetical, of course, and I'm hoping this comes to fruition. But where will you be watching the game when the Knicks are playing a closeout game in the NBA Finals?
Woo! I mean,
let me ask you this: will you be at all downtown at all? Will you be anywhere near 34th Street?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If there's a closeout game being played, if I'm not in the if it's in New York. And I'm not in the Garden, I gotta be with the people.
Right.
I gotta be with the people. Right. Like I'm trying to call like all the old head Knicks fans that suffered for like, yo, we gotta be together, man. we have to be together. If this moment is gonna go down, we all gotta be together. Or the fact is I gotta be around Knicks fans.
Right.
I gotta at some point I gotta be around Knicks fans because we gotta experience this.
Right. Well, listen, I plan on being in the house. I said I'm not sure about watch parties.
I hear that. I hear that.
5, bro. You know what I mean? The last, so I was at KFTV's for the game 1 fiasco against Indiana. Mm-hmm. The last one I was at before, I was actually at the game when Tyrese Maxey hit that 3, the 4-point play in game 5.
I was there too.
I was there. I was there. And I wish you, Jeff, bro, me and my wife walked outside the garden and I just stood there for 10 minutes. I was like, is this happening? Are we collapsing before my very eyes? Luckily, we have a guy that wears number 11, and he went into Philly and went ahead and go and close that thing out. So thank God for that. But yeah, bro, I want to thank you for joining me today, man. It's been a great conversation. Let the people know where they can find you on all your platforms, bro.
Yes, sir. Jeff J says all social media, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, wherever I have you, I'm there. Also do a lot of work on Knicks Film School. So if you like the Knicks and love Knicks content, tap in with us. And also, I do NBA Takedown with my guys, Macri and Sean with a W. So we talk about the league at large. So I'm doing all that stuff there. And as I said, if you like basketball, if you like sports, you like pop culture and entertainment, I'm talking about it all. So let's join the conversation together.
My man, Jeff J, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you coming on. Do me a favor, y'all, once again. Thanks for checking out the content. Please like, share, subscribe to the channel. We want to get this dope content out to more dope people like yourself. We'll be back with another episode sometime later this week. And yeah, I'm out, man. You guys be dope, stay dope. Peace.